Part 34. Exploring the World, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 331. Since Yeshi had determined that the place he wanted to explore was the mausoleum of the first emperor of Qin, there was no hesitation. Unlike the ancient books that fooled the audience in the past, there were indeed many ancient books about Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, so Yeshi collected them all. It is recorded in the Yellow Emperor's inner canon that the Yellow Emperor asked the Heavenly Master, "I have heard that people in ancient times were 100 years old in the spring and autumn period, but their movements did not decline. People today are half 100 years old, but their movements declined. Is this a different world? Is it going to be lost?" Pengzu was an official of the Yin dynasty. His name was Keng. He was the grandson of Emperors Huangsu and the middle son of the Lu Zhong family. He lived through the Xia dynasty and reached the end of the Shang dynasty, and his name was 700 years old. The Qi practitioners of the pre-Qin dynasty were even more famous, and there were countless legends of flying immortals. However, most modern people don't actually believe these ancient legends. A distant voice came from the hill. The live broadcast room was filled with excitement, and his reaction speed was much faster than Yeshi's speaking speed. "Xuanhuan is me, I'm not, don't talk nonsense. Qinli Buluixing, you slandered me, sir, someone slandered me. Actually, I am from ancient times, and only those who can see this, so of course I believe it. What are the Emperor's new clothes in the new era? Brother, your live broadcast talk is outdated. We are no longer stupid for watching your live broadcast for the first time. Kick the door frame. Who are you calling stupid? I dare to admit that I was once a fool, but do you dare to admit it? Brother Ye really wants to go to the mausoleum of the first emperor. One thing to say is, isn't that a place belonging to the country? What you said upstairs is good. When Brother Ye blew up other planets, you didn't say they were from other people's countries. Please note that what appears in front of you now is Ye, the ordinary blue star explorer, destroyer of planets, who claims to be a human but is actually an immortal who cultivates immortality, and who appears to be a sea god Shi. Yeshi just followed his live broadcast style and said that. As for whether the audience believes it or not, that has nothing to do with him. Anyway, he believed it. After the message he posted on his account was released, the area around Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was suddenly vacated. It was said that there was some big problem. As for what the problem was, everyone would understand it. If you don't understand, there's nothing you can do about it. So, when Yeshi walked to this place, there is not even a duck feather here, let alone a human being. According to legend, the tomb of the first emperor is down here. This news. I'm not sure yet whether it's true or false. But the things below must have something to do with the first emperor. After all, we can dig out the terracotta warriors and horses. But based on the information I have collected, it is difficult to say that this is the real mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. Personally, I prefer the mausoleum of the first emperor, which is not the real one. Yeshi walked while talking. His voice echoed in this empty area, and coupled with the words he spoke, it sounded terrible. Actually, I'm not really worried about not being able to find the tomb of the first emperor or being able to enter. What I'm worried about is that he might actually find the elixir of immortality by asking for immortality. After all, Penglai, Abbot, and Yingzhou, these three fairy islands really exist, and Sufu is not very simple either. It would be so embarrassing if I went to visit his grave later and bumped into him. Yeshi was really worried about this. He was simply more worried than all the previous explorations combined. Every drop on the forehead is a drop on the forehead. Zhao Zheng, you are my good descendant. Kicking the doorframe, I heard that this tomb has not been dug for hundreds of years. It seems that something big went wrong when it got to the corner, a very scary problem, so it has been left there until now, and it is still being dug. Call it 100 unsolved mysteries of modern times. Um, brother, don't blow up the tomb when you go in, we still want to take a look later, don't be like the planet of behemoths. Peng Wei, Yingzheng. Brother Zheng is in the hearts of many people. I just thought, if Brother Zheng really crawled out of the coffin, would you still like him so much? Living king of hell, what era is it? We are still alive and dead. What is the difference between the living and the dead? Oh my, we are all like one another in this world. Soon. Yeshi walked to the entrance of the official tomb of the first emperor. But he didn't rush in. Instead, he looked up and looked at the directions in all directions and the ornaments on the ground. He doesn't understand feng shui, but he knows everything. Since Yeshi could randomly disrupt the combination of particles and then recombine them together, he could naturally observe where something was wrong with the magnetic field. Something was obviously wrong. Many people must have died here. Yeshi walked around the entrance and could feel that the basic particles that made up this space were different from other normal particles. To use a simple description, it is demonized. This made Yeshi have to wonder what was underneath. Lao Hu, yes, many people died. Terrible things happened here at that time. The soil was seeping with black blood, and there were soldiers who looked like Qin dynasty patrolling. It looked like King Qin Yingzheng had revived. Alegio, I have analyzed that the magnetic field over there is not right, but the means at that time could not break this magnetic field. I thought that with the development of technology, we could get a glimpse of Qin Shi Huang's tomb. Unfortunately, after the world changed, this place also changed. Tomcat, hee, little sea god, I roughly know what you are looking for. When I came to your home planet to trade, it was really hard, especially later. It became more and more difficult, but I remember that I once traded with a man in a black robe. He came from the east, and he should be the emperor you are looking for. You didn't trade with Huangdi and Nuwa, did you? How long have you lived? Who are you? Tomcat stirred up 1,000 waves with one stone. Yeshi eyes was still pacing and observing. After the world upgraded, the danger here became greater accordingly. He still respected the first emperor, so even though he became an immortal, he still observed carefully. Yeshi also looked at the contents of the live broadcast room. As for Tomcat, he knew from the beginning that this was the clone of a big boss. It was possible that there was a heavenly master or ancient god behind him, so he was not surprised by the information he revealed. Golden-haired Bay, now I think about it and I feel that time and space are intertwined. I don't know how many times you have watched Brother Yes live broadcast. I clearly remember that not long after Brother Yes live broadcast, he mentioned the first emperor and the aliens he met with the first emperor. This is really a prophecy. Brother, you don't know how to use idioms, right? A prophecy means bad. He means bad, so, did the golden-haired cat sense something again? Yes. The degree of danger here is probably second only to the gates of hell. Yeshi stopped at the downstairs at this time, then looked at the camera and said so. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 332. The mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang has always been a place full of legends. Some people even say that the first emperor did not die, but had taken the elixir of immortality. Regarding this, Yeshi felt that it was very possible. I haven't seen what the world has become. After walking around the entrance of the mausoleum a few times, he discovered that there was a big problem here. If a normal person stayed here for a long time, he would not only have a nervous breakdown, but he would also see the black dragon banner and De Qin back then. If it were longer, the illusion of traveling would occur, thinking that one had traveled to the Qin dynasty and would never be able to come back. Perhaps many of those who study Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum feel this way. Yeshi looked at the camera and continued. The overall magnetic field in this place is very weird. If you stay for a long time, you will have the illusion that you are from the Qin dynasty, a soldier of the Qin army, and the Qin army who followed the first emperor to launch the war. Then I woke up from the dream and saw the current era, and I was afraid I wanted to die as a martyr. Also, the Qin army will indeed reappear here from time to time, but if the Qin army in the past was just a shadow, I am afraid that the current one can be touched in real terms. A very dangerous place. It makes me even more curious about what's going on down there. Yes, she looked at the live broadcast room and paused. Then let's go down and take a look now. By the way, I don't recommend that you come to Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum. The mysterious magnetic field here is very affecting your sanity. There is a saying, there are too many people seeking death. I am different. I have become interested in Su Fu and the 3,000 boys and girls. I used to say that they were places where I lived a good life. Now I doubt that people have really found the fairy island. I don't know why, but I feel very nervous now. It feels like witnessing the dusty history. What kind of world was it in the pre-Qin period? I'm thinking now, what if Qin Shi Huang is really alive? What should I do? Kick the doorframe, open the ancient road in the starry sky for him, and then pack an interstellar map. Wait a minute, I suddenly thought of a very serious matter. Did Qin open the starry sky ancient road in his time? Tomcat, GGG, you know too many things. During the lively discussion in the live broadcast room, Yeshi had already walked down the stairs. The building here is extremely flat, similar to the structural model of a museum. Going down does not mean that you actually walk into the soil, but you are still in reinforced concrete. Everyone here has evacuated, so it's quiet and dark. After Yeshi walked down, he turned on all the lights in the hall on the first floor. The hissing sound of electricity sounded, and some places flickered on and off. In the blink of an eye, it was as if some phantom wearing mysterious armor suddenly appeared. And when standing at the entrance to the first floor below and looking ahead, Yeshi suddenly turned around, returned to the entrance to the stairs, and then touched the wall on one side. Although this place has been cleaned very, very neatly, but this place was sealed off before, and it was just demolished. Yeshi picked up some small crumbs and placed them in front of the camera. There was a sealed door here before. The overall thickness is almost 3 meters. The material used seems to be antimatter material that is enough to block any material leakage. A wall built with such a large amount of money was demolished. Yeshi looked at the camera with a playful look in his eyes. I'm your fatty, that's right, I said I could keep this wall as a reminder to you, Lao Ye, but with a wave of their hands, they completely demolished everything inside, which pissed me off, fatty. I heard that a total of 18 blocking walls were set up from the entrance to Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum to the ground. Could it be that all of them were demolished? How did you know? Lao Ye's live broadcast room. Crouching tiger, hidden dragon is so awesome. I don't know what is being blocked here. Yeshi looked at it for a while and continued walking forward. As a result, there was a clicking sound, the lights flickered, and the clean ground suddenly had clusters of blood-stained red hair. At the same time, Herod. The sound of horse hooves also rushed out, and the source of the sound was still behind Yeshi. Not to mention staying at the scene. Even those watching the live broadcast felt trembling in their hearts. Yeshi could even feel the hot breath of the horse coming from behind. He was a little surprised and looked at the camera. Did something appear behind me? I don't dare to look. I really don't dare to look. I dare not say it, but if it were me, I would definitely crawl up there immediately and never come to this place again. Brother, yeah, you don't want to know. I can't stand just watching from across the live broadcast room. This really isn't a question of whether you're great or not. This is a close-up killing, a close-up killing. Yeshi actually just asked that. After asking, he didn't look at the netizen's answer at all, but took 2 steps forward. He took 2 steps forward, and the thing following him seemed to take 2 steps forward. You couldn't say leave, but it was already attached to his body. So Yeshi turned around. A terrifying grimace was just 3 centimeters away from being pressed against his face. The system's live broadcast room very considerately changed the angle of the live broadcast in the first place. Therefore, When Yeshi encountered a face-on attack, the majority of the audience also encountered it. Ah! I don't know how many people were not prepared and fainted directly. In front of him was a rotten and sunken ghost face. It was still riding a warhorse, but a large part of it was under the ground. In terms of height, Yeshi was on par with it. There was a deep resentment in the eyes of the ghost face. Seeing people's hair stand up, they dare not look at it at all. However, no matter where you move your eyes, its face will appear in front of you. Yang Xuanhuan, you shouldn't turn around. If you don't turn around and leave here, you will just get a serious illness, but now, you will be chased by these things and never let go. Yeshi frowned. He was also scared, especially after feeling a very similar breath, So he looked down at the ground. In addition to seeing a ghost face, he also saw tiny red hairs. Oh, what the hell? Yeshi looked at the camera in a flat tone and said to the live broadcast room. I didn't expect that the red-haired brother had a successor. But what does the first emperor have to do with the red-haired curse? One leaf covering the sky, unlucky in old age? Brother, can you kill this thing next to you? It's really scary to see it. Yang Xuanhuan, it can't be killed. This kind of creature will never die here unless this place is destroyed. Red hair, don't tell me that brother red hair has been here before. Yeshi reached out and wiped away the ghost face in front of him, then squatted on the ground and looked at it. After studying it carefully for a while, he was sure. It is indeed the same red-haired curse. It seems that there is also a red-haired monster in the mausoleum of Xuanhuan. This is bad. I don't know what the mausoleum of the first emperor has been destroyed into. After all, the earthly immortals are almost all gone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 333. So, that wall at the top of the stairs was built to block these things. While Yeshi was deep in thought, the ghostly face came to him again. This thing is really annoying. Yeshi really has only one way to solve it, and that is to smash the magnetic field in this place, but the magnetic field is generated by the underground tomb, so Yeshi could only let this ghost face follow him. Fortunately, he has learned to ignore it, but he is not very friendly to the viewers watching the live broadcast. Especially those who later enter the live broadcast room may even suspect that they have entered the wrong live broadcast room and have come to the horror live broadcast room. My heart is beating loudly. I don't know what the 17 blocking walls behind are used to block. Why is it that hell is not as scary as here? Although, the underworld is scary at the beginning, isn't the gate of hell scary? Have you ever considered why there are 18 walls? Golden clam, magic circle, a special magic circle. There was no one on the quiet first floor except Yeshi, and most of the buildings on the ground were not completed yet. A few steps further, there was a pure cement floor, and beyond that, there was a yellow soil floor. It was empty and quiet, except for the sound of Yeshi's footsteps. There were only dim light bulbs from time to time and the Qin troops walking past the dark place. The silence here was a bit eerie. Yeshi murmured in his heart a few times before taking the white tiger out, so now one person and one tiger walked underground. I don't know why, but after seeing the white tiger, the people watching the live broadcast felt a little relieved. It's probably because this big white cat is so silly. As soon as he was released, he was as excited as anything. He dug around for things, even got into a fight with that ghost face, and screamed at the illusory shadow from time to time, which diluted the tense atmosphere in the live broadcast room a lot. But not long after, the suffocating feeling before came back soon. Because as Yeshi continued to walk forward, there was no way to go ahead, and everything was nailed to death. Something that shouldn't have appeared on the ground near the next level, a blood-stained stone turtle. When he saw the blood-stained stone turtle, the white tiger was stunned for a moment, because when he ran to this place before, there was no such thing here, so he hesitated for a moment, stretched out his tiger paw and was about to slap it down. At this moment, rumble! The sound of the fierce battlefield rang out, scaring it so much that it immediately took a step back, then looked around. Its pupils shrank, because Yeshi disappeared. And its surroundings turned into a battlefield of fighting. Everything on the negative floor where Yeshi was standing was bleeding. Black blood seeped out of the walls. Unconsciously, there were a lot more red hairs on the ground. The blood-stained stone turtle in front of him suddenly disappeared. And the white tiger disappeared with it. Huzi, where is my Huzi? A white tiger as big as mine, why is it missing? This place is too evil. Is there another sealed door in front of it, that is, the second door? Golden mouse, no, the entire negative level is a door. Ranyun is me, it's over, isn't that? White tiger seems to have been dragged into the battlefield between Qin army and Zhao state. Yeshi took a few steps forward and felt something strange here. That can't be it, it can't be the battle of Changping. Can he come back alive? The white tiger is already powerful enough, but it seems that the previous dynasties of Blue Star were more terrifying. Yeshi thought for a while. He took out 3 sticks of incense and inserted them in front. It should be said that as soon as they were placed there, these 3 incense sticks ignited spontaneously without fire. Ordinary people would have to kowtow 3 times here and then pray sincerely, but Yeshi, to be honest, if he kowtows, it should be these things on the opposite side. Not to mention kowtow, he didn't even bow, he just threw down 3 sticks of incense. Strictly speaking, there is no need to use 3 incense sticks, but who makes Yeshi a good person? After the spiritual incense ignited, the entire wall on the first floor that was bleeding slowly returned to normal, and even the grimace disappeared into a streak of white smoke. The blood-stained stone turtle reappeared, and the gas burned by the spiritual incense was sucked into the stone turtle's body. The white tiger reappeared, but his body was stained with a lot of blood, his eyes were a little dazed, and he was even a little scared. The great affairs of the country lie in sacrifice and military affairs. The abnormality that happened here just now is because they did not receive enough sacrifices, so that's why. Just light 3 sticks of incense and it will be fine. Don't be too afraid. But for ordinary people, I still don't recommend doing this. I use spiritual incense to offer sacrifices. I have communicated with the ghosts and gods of heaven and earth so that I can be sensed by these pre-Qin souls. But if other people offer sacrifices, they are not qualified to offer sacrifices, but they will be counterattacked. Watching the 3 pillars of incense slowly burn out, Yeshi explained to the camera. But I still don't understand why this place is like this. I'm afraid that during the Qin dynasty, the whole world was completely different from what we imagined before. Otherwise this kind of thing wouldn't have happened. Yeshi pointed to the blood-stained stone turtle on the ground, with a slight emotion in his tone. This is the dragon turtle. Although it has been dead for a long time, it was once alive. There are even dragon turtles. Then Lu Bang killed the white snake and revolted. I guess it's pretty much the same. Tisk. Too much real history is buried in the ancient times. Old Hu, the dragon turtle is stained with blood. This is very unlucky. If it were me, I would turn around immediately and swear that I would never go down to this tomb again in this life. It's too scary. I didn't even touch the tomb door, but the dragon turtle was stained with blood. There must be something terrible underground. The evil Taoist priest. I remember seeing a legend about the dragon turtle being stained with blood in an ancient book. It said that once the dragon turtle is stained with blood, a dead immortal terrain will appear. There is no way to retreat once you enter, there is no way to leave except to move forward. Although it is almost a 100% chance of death, there are rare treasures inside, treasures of immortals. Golden-haired Shell, the first emperor, who had the destiny in his hands, died so quietly, and the place he left behind, this place is too scary. Even before the world dimension was upgraded, this place was not accessible to mortals. The incense burned out completely, and the white tiger was still standing there like a fool, but there was an inexplicable fear in his eyes, as if he had seen a being that had traveled through time. Yashi glanced at it, walked over and touched his head. Okay, don't be afraid. The white tiger only reacted at this time. Boss, I seem to have seen something very scary. That place is even scarier than the core of my home planet. The murderous intent on that person is not even comparable to that of the vermilion bird, and he seems to have seen me. Yashi's hand paused, and he immediately reacted. Oh, you saw Xuanhuan Bai Qi. He is a real killing god. There are too few giant beasts on your giant beast planet, and there are only tens of thousands of them killing each other, but this killing god killed 400,000 people in one battle. No wonder you are scared. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 334. It's not surprising that Yeshi said what happened to Baihu, but the words made many people excited. People who didn't dare to watch the live broadcast also looked up and continued watching the live broadcast. Bai Qi. No way, why is it that Baihu met Bai Qi because they have the same last name? It's the kind of time and space dislocation that Brother Ye mentioned before, so is it possible for us to see the legendary Battle of Changping and witness such a character with our own eyes? Don't lie to me because I'm not good at history. I remember that Bai Qi and the first emperor were not from the same era. This is the tomb of the first emperor, not the king of Qins. Seriously, who can say for sure what the previous era was like? Maybe Bai Qi was a pre-Qin Qi practitioner, so he lived for 3 eras in a row, and reached the era of Brother Zheng. Click click click. It seemed like an extremely heavy door was opened, but the surrounding walls remained unchanged. Suddenly, countless voices full of ancient charm sounded. Looking around, there was a vast expanse of white mist and yellow mud, mixed with some yellow sand, on the negative floor that had not been fully completed. In a trance, many people appeared in the white mist. Upon closer inspection, I found that one by one these people had jumped into an unprecedentedly large pit. This is a huge earth pit with hundreds of thousands of lives buried inside. Worry, don't tell me, this is not the tomb of the first emperor, but the ancient battlefield of the Battle of Changping. The location doesn't seem right. My geography has been eaten by dogs. Maybe the pre-Qin address is like this. Forget it, I have no way to convince myself. It is indeed the Battle of Changping. Why does this kind of scene appear here? Isn't it true that all important things related to Qin will appear here? Yeshi meditated for a while, and when the white mist dissipated, everything returned to how it was before. He walked to the front and gently pushed down the wall in front, and a lowest passage appeared in front of everyone. The dark wind gusts. The yellow mud was mixed with 3/3 of black blood, as well as short black hair and white bones that occasionally flashed through it. They all make this place look like purgatory on earth. Baihu murmured a few times in his heart, feeling that the alien planet was particularly weird. It had never encountered such weird things when it was on its home planet. Therefore, a kind of fear actually arose in my heart, especially when I met Xuanhuan Bai Qi's eyes before. It was an inexplicable feeling of guilt. Boss, where is this place? Yeshi held a whale candle lantern in his hand, which illuminated a dim yellow mud passage and also reflected the strange yellow mud walls on both sides. It's probably the place where dead bodies are buried. Oh, this planet is so weird, it can die. When Yeshi heard this answer, he glanced at Baihu. He really didn't know what to say, but he heard the other person continue to say. Then why don't they come back to life after they die? Infinite Heavenly Lord, why am I not resurrected? Is it because I don't want to? Ah, the people have nothing to eat and no grass roots to eat, so why don't you eat meat? Why don't we eat minced meat in today's world? No, It's even more exaggerated than that. You even ask why we don't resurrect after death. Is it okay? Maybe it's because there is no way to resurrect. Yes, she looked at Baihu speechlessly now. Go ahead and see if this is the only way. The white tiger nodded and walked forward step by step. After all, it is one of the most powerful beasts on the planet of beasts. It can be said that it is not afraid of this environment at all. That's weird. The white tiger ran forward for less than a minute, and then ran back immediately, his eyes full of fear. Boss, you said there is no way to resurrect. There are a bunch of resurrected villains in front of you, which scares the beast to death. There is also a large piece of red hair blocking the road. I can't see anything. When Yeshi saw Hung Mao when he came in, he knew that this place must be inextricably related to the curse. But after hearing the news from Baihu, he still frowned and walked forward faster. Why are you still afraid? Boss, I haven't recovered my strength yet, and my home planet has been bombed. If I die, I will have to grow out of it for hundreds of thousands of years. Then I won't be able to stay with you, boss. Damn it, a tiger is better at flattering than me. That makes sense. Yeshi. He didn't want to say anything more, but he quickly arrived at the place where Baihu was also surprised. Who are these resurrected people? They seem to be people from this century. They should be the previous staff. How did they become like this? They look like ghosts. Although it looks like a ghost, strictly speaking, it is a corpse. Because Yeshi had already seen that the souls of these former people had been stripped away, and only corpses were left here. Each corpse was controlled by red fluff, and transformed into the weird appearance in front of him. These corpses opened their eyes and stared blankly in front of them, dancing as if they were performing a dance, and mumbling to themselves whether clusters of red hair fell on the ground. And behind these corpses, there is indeed a wall of red hair, which makes people's scalp numb when looking at it. The ground has also been covered with a layer of red hair. As long as you raise your legs, you will step on it. For example, the white tiger's paws got some on it. Yeshi frowned and inserted the whale candle lamp on the wall beside him. The light illuminated the walls on both sides. He found that the yellow mud walls were full of carefully crafted skulls with eyes wide open. This place is full of evil and barbarism, and it doesn't look like the Qin dynasty at all. Is it the ancient wilderness? I'm afraid the time here has to be traced back to a long time ago. Yeshi took out the whale candle lamp again. This candle lamp can not only illuminate, but also dispel the influence of unknown creatures and stabilize the surroundings of the light. All previous speculations can be overturned. This should be the burial place of the witch. No wonder it is so weird. The witch here is the most powerful witch in the pre-Qin dynasty. This Emperor Shi Huang is really powerful. Not only does he want to build a world after death, but he also uses witches to guard the door. I really don't know how shocking the picture will be when I really push the tomb of Emperor Shi Huang. Which? Forgive me for being a primary school student, I only know about the 12 ancestral witches. That was written by a later novel. Journey to the West was also written by a later novel, isn't that true? But these things are really a bit tricky. The witches in the pre-Qin period should still have some divine power, and can communicate with the heaven and earth and even the gods. Now here is a road to death that they have arranged. Where did this red-haired curse come from? Yeshi sighed as he looked at the front and said this. I have a very bad feeling. The red-haired monsters we have seen before are not unique. I am afraid that every one of these Qin wizards has become a red-haired monster. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 335. I am God, your guess is too scary. A single red-haired monster can turn the earthly immortal tomb upside down. If there are a bunch of them, then I simply can't think of it. Master of Taoism, Su Fu is not weaker than an unknown earth immortal. Wei Zheng was able to kill the Dragon King of Jinghe in his dream, and the earth immortal was against the first emperor. Ran Yun is me. I am now afraid that the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang is also full of red hairs. No, wait, did Wei Zheng kill the Jinghe Dragon King in his dream? Isn't this just a fabrication of folklore? Yeshi glanced sideways at the red hair under the white tiger. Have you noticed anything unusual about yourself? Baihu was a little confused. After meeting Yeshi's gaze, he thought about it seriously. I'm hungry. Its eyes were hesitant, and finally it said these words tentatively. Yeshi's eyes twitched and he didn't care anymore. You'd better not get involved with these red hairs. There's a particularly terrifying curse attached to them. Tisk. I discovered that these curses only target people like me. After Yeshi saw that Baihu was okay, he tried to pinch a tuft of red hair, and then his whole body erupted with a strange light. The two forces continued to confront each other. In just a few moments, the curse of red hair was completely suppressed. After he finished trying it, he sighed like this. Those archaeologists, or discoverers of underground ruins, have also suffered from the curse of red hair. Yeshi raised a flame on his hand and burned out all the red hair. The flame he used was the six-ding divine fire, the flame in Tai's Hangla Jun's Bagua furnace. I have to say that the divine fires he picked up on the behemoth planet were very good. Although they were very small and it took a very long time to get even a little bit, in terms of effects alone, they were much more than the fallen star flames. I am an archaeologist. It is true that digging people's ancestral graves will lead to retribution. Grave robbers shed tears, right? Wait, will grave robbers also suffer this kind of curse? What about witches? Witches don't rob tombs. Why are witches cursed? Which? After Yeshi put away the flame, he looked at the camera. If archaeologists and tomb robbers are cursed because they come into contact with these things, then witches will definitely encounter bad luck in their later years. This red-haired curse seems to be tracking a special group of people. Yeshi stretched out his foot to kick away the motionless white tiger, then threw a fire in front of him, watching countless flames rise up and burn the entire area. Okay, let's move on. Destroy all laws with one force. Simple and crude, but effective. I use Liuting divine fire, so I can burn these things, because the flame carries a power to burn everything. It is the flame used to refine elixirs in Tai's Hangla Jun's Bagua furnace. But if it were any other fire, it would not be so easy to solve the problem in front of us. It's just that the six-ding divine fire in my hand is pretty good. I hope I won't run into several monsters with red hair all over their bodies. You are like an old general on the flag stand, with flags all over your body. You have arrived at the hometown of the red-haired monster, and you are still thinking about not running into him. I tell you it's impossible. Did Sun Wukong get his eyes burned by the fire, and then developed his piercing eyes? This should be the third door. Many people must have died to build this wall. There are 15 walls behind. Yeshi shook his head when he thought of this. I don't know how much energy I have wasted, but I feel like I might have actually reached the door of the first emperor's mausoleum. What a pity. In the midst of the flames, Yeshi and Baihu continued to walk. After passing through this area, the sense of space began to slowly distort. It seemed that we were moving forward, but in fact it was not in this direction at all. The walls on both sides are no longer yellow mud, but worn-out stones with some mud mixed in. From here, you can see that the yellow mud passage we walked through was actually intentional to arrange some things. Because ghosts have begun to draw talismans in the passages here, various ornaments of dancing gods, and spooky statues that look like ghosts. These statues are only half a person tall, but when the camera is pointed at them, one can feel a sincere coldness. The eyes have traveled through thousands of years, and they meet the eyes of people today. The cold and vicious eyes deprive them of their reason. So scared that many viewers fell off their chairs. The further we go, the wider we get, the further we go, the wider we get. Later, it was no longer a simple passage, but a road where carriages could be driven. The stone pillars bear weight, the sky above is filled with blood, and the front is like a ghost, which is terrifying. I don't dare to look. Sure enough, the fear of the unknown is the scariest thing. Where is this going? To be honest, when Brother Ye walked from the gate of hell to the underworld, I didn't have this kind of nameless fear. I felt like there was a monster in front of me. Because you know it is the gate of hell and you know where you are going, but you don't know anything here. White Tiger rubbed his palms vigorously to remove all the red hair, and then ran to both sides to look at the deeper and deeper passage. Boss, I feel it. It seems to be as high as 1,000 meters below. Have we just walked for so long? The place that was originally quiet and a little scary suddenly became alive because of the voice of the White Tiger. Hiss, hiss. The sound of bats suddenly came from the sky, and thousands of bats were startled and caught the man and the tiger. Their little eyes were full of greed for flesh and blood, so they rushed down one after another. As a result, a terrible thing happened. Yashi ignored these bats and walked straight forward. Instead, the White Tiger stepped directly into the air with a few steps. Bang bang bang, its body kept getting bigger and bigger, and it was dozens of meters long in a blink of an eye. Then a bloody mouth opened, and the size of the mouth was even larger than the body. It grew bigger and bigger, and swallowed all the snacks in just one mouthful. Such a small bat could not even splash water under the prototype of the White Tiger. Therefore, after finishing these, it shook its ears and returned to its original appearance. And continued to patrol around Yeshi. Honestly, I was so nervous, but the White Tiger swallowed me in one gulp. After not seeing it for a long time, this White Tiger is still so fierce. I really don't know how powerful Suzaku is. It's a pity that those other giant beasts are too far away, and the planets have exploded, otherwise I really want to see them. Have you forgotten that there are also beasts in the solar system? There are several beasts in the solar prison. I guarantee you will enjoy watching them. Oh, my poor Dao, if you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten it long ago. It's okay. At Kraken, the North Sea giant monster, the current administrator of Yeshen's live broadcast room. The barrage was hot, Yeshi was like nothing happened, and the White Tiger didn't even go up to him to act cute, because, it was just like that. Soon, they passed through the carriage road and stopped in front of an old, dilapidated, and mysterious ancient temple. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 336. Tisk, the Temple of the Witch Priest. It really doesn't look like a pre-Qin creation. Although the overall appearance is still bronze, the craftsmanship involved is much higher than now. It is indeed the beginning of the era of extraterrestrial trade. I haven't even figured it out yet, but alien trade and the Qin dynasty can be connected. It feels a bit weird. If you don't believe me, I'll take a look again. Golden Mouse, whether you look forward or backward, maybe the history of Blue Star has always been a circle. There was interstellar trade before, and there will be in the future, but not now. Pushing open the ancient palace, dust flew in the face, and it was as bright as day inside. Human figurines. Real human figurines. Yeshi followed the light and saw what was supporting the candle light. It was a human figurine made of a real person. It was only at this time that the bloody and cruel pre-Qin era unveiled its mysterious veil. In the place illuminated by the light, there are many large pits for burials, and there are also corresponding underworld tools and human bones. It seems that these heads have not been washed away by time at all, and they still look like they were when they were buried. In the live broadcast room, you can even meet the eyes of these dead people, and the cold people's scalp will feel numb. It's been so many years, why haven't these bones rotted into ashes? The power of which? Fortunately, The terracotta warriors and horses are not real people, otherwise I would be scared to death when I went to visit. This is a burial ceremony performed by shamans in the pre-Qin dynasty to worship Tai god. Tai god, not many people know about it now. The so-called Tai god was called the Taiwang during the Qin dynasty, one of the three emperors together with the emperor and emperor of the earth. These were the three gods popular in the Qin and Han dynasties. And by the time of the Han dynasty, Tai god became the emperor of heaven, the supreme god. Useless knowledge increased. So Zhongbaran is a usurper, right? Zhongbaran, no, one is a born emperor of heaven, and the other is a heavenly emperor who has gone through many tribulations. Sacrificing sacrifices here should be to inform Tai god that King Qin has been buried, and we need to take more care of the deceased king of Qin. Many people believe that after death there is a world exactly like the one in life. Yes, she looked at the camera. Basically speaking, this statement is actually true. The underworld we went to before has been almost destroyed, otherwise we can still see a very prosperous and lively ghost world. By Vuchang, it's true. The distant ancient atmosphere flows in this ancient palace, and there is a slight darkness in front. Accompanied by the slight sound of footsteps and the pit of bones in front of them, many people raised their hearts. It's just that even babies are sacrificed. Yes, she held a large flashlight in his hand and shined the light into the pit. Sure enough, he saw the bones of several babies. These bones are well preserved because the power of God Tai is really covering them, this temple. Because humans, like other blood foods, like cattle, sheep, pigs, and horses, can be used as sacrifices. The reason why people emerged from their womb later and became the spirits of heaven and earth is just because of literary creation. The person watching the live broadcast almost spit out the salt soda. Goddamn literary creation. Everyone in me stood up, but you said this? Literary creation, ha 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 ha. Yes, she looked at the live broadcast room and knew that these people didn't believe it, so he walked forward along the light and saw the statue of Tai god. Don't believe what I said. It's just to maintain a person's status, just like maintaining the authority of a dynasty. Why does the emperor like to say that he is ordered by heaven and is the emperor? In order to prove that he is different from others, so he can rule this dynasty. For example, in the Han dynasty, there were rumors in the world that when Liu Bang killed the white snake, it was the red emperor's son who killed the white emperor's son, so Liu Bang is the son of the red emperor. In the Tang dynasty, the Li Tang royal family said they were descendants of Li Er. Who is Li Er? He is the Supreme Lord. This is why these people want to prove their uniqueness, so when they open their mouths, they are ordered by heaven, and when they open their mouths, they are the emperor. It's the same with people. Especially in the later stages of literary processing, this becomes more true. The emperor of heaven is a human being, the three pure ones are human beings, and Tao is also a human being. Everyone is human. Because the people who wrote those classics are humans, humans are the soul of all things. Yes, she couldn't help laughing when he said this. I was convinced, really because of literary creation, right? It all relies on one mouth to blow, blow, blow. Humanity is now in full swing. Yang Xuanhuan, it can only be naive to think that the gods and immortals in heaven are all in the shape of humans just like in the Silas galaxy. If the beings on their planet think that the creator who created the planet should look like them, that one is really a funny joke. Unnamed, hee, when I went to the underworld, the ghosts I saw were not what you saw. Jin Mobe, but people can indeed become immortals. Nuwa does exist. No, it's too messy. The mythological system is too messy. It's a mess. The mythology of heaven has been sorted out into a system, but there is no way to combine it with other compatible with myths and legends. It can be compatible many times. Two gods that you think are completely different actually worship the same god. Tais Hanglajun, there are 5 disasters in the number of heaven and earth. The east starts from Zi, called Longhan, which is the beginning disaster. The south starts from Yin, called chiming, which is the completion disaster. The center starts from Mao, called Shanghuang, and the north starts from Wu, called Kaihuang, both of which are the stopping disasters. The west starts from Yu and ends at Su, called Yangkang, which is the destruction disaster. Good guy, the creation, the destruction, the emptiness, right, what does this have to do with it? Beginning, the destruction, the destruction. Yes, she reached out and wiped off the dust on the statue of Tai God. Because, the era of the first emperor was the destruction disaster. Tisk, what a poor guy. As soon as Yeshi finished speaking, a long sigh came from the ancient temple. Dang dang dang. The inexplicable sound of bamboo joints rang out. Yeshi then retracted his gaze. Is there really a witch alive? He reached out, took out a candle out of thin air, lit it, and placed it on the altar of Tai God. Following the sound, Yeshi saw a hunched figure with wrinkles all over her body, smaller than a 7 or 8-year-old child. Her hand holding the bamboo stick was only a layer of skin, and even the bones had been consumed over a long period of time. She lowered her head and could not see her face clearly, only her hair and a patch of white hair. She had been sitting here in the same posture for thousands of years. After thousands of years, a living person finally appeared in the Tai temple. The last witch of the Qin state sighed for a long time. Zhou, bad, 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 if witches are alive, then Qin Shi Huang must be alive. Okay, it seems that we are all Yegong who loves dragons. I tremble with fear when I think of seeing a living Qin Shi Huang. Yeshi put away the flashlight. Why did he feel that it was not good to shine the light directly on an old man who was thousands of years old? Ding! Ding! Congratulations to the host for increasing the exploration of the Qin Shi Huang mausoleum map by 5%, and the overall progress is now 5%. Ding! Congratulations to the host for unlocking the first puzzle of the Qin Shi Huang mausoleum. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the White Bone Dragon Pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 337. Ding! Congratulations to the host for increasing the exploration of the Qin Shi Huang mausoleum map by 5%, and now the overall progress is 5%. Ding! Congratulations to the host for unlocking the first puzzle of the Qin Shi Huang mausoleum. It is recommended to worship Tai God X1, Wu God X1, Akabane Stone X 10 kg, Tai Sheng Shui X 10 kg, Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum Map Atlas, Tai Temple, Wu. Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum Atlas, Tai Temple, Wu. Tai Temple, this is an ancient and untraceable god, born before heaven and earth, and is not the same as the ancient god seen before. He does not even have personal consciousness, but is just a vague Tao, which can be human or not. Which, in the pre-Qin era, the bridge between people and gods was generally communicated through dancing. Most of them were liars, and only a few could really communicate with the sky. After the death of Qin King Yingzheng, they disappeared completely. The witch in front of you is the last witch, who guarded the tomb of the first emperor according to his will. So far, no one has been able to walk past her. Tai God sacrifice priesthood. By taking this priesthood, one can communicate with Tai God and gain the favor of God, becoming a witch. Witch priesthood, which is a kind of priesthood unlike the previous one. The witch here is not limited to communicating with one god, but can communicate with all gods. Akabane stone, a special stone that can serve as a medium for communication between gods and humans. Tai Sheng Shui, a special kind of divine water with infinite uses. A pool is placed in the Orthodox Tai temple, and the ordinary water will be transformed into Tai Sheng Shui. Yeshi could still hear the system's ding 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 sound in his ears, and he did not stop, walking towards the witch in front. The last witch. The first emperor seems to be closely connected with these supernatural things. Yeshi hesitated for a while, and did not move forward, but walked to both sides and plugged 2 lamps respectively. The magnificent light illuminated this area and shone on the witch's body, but could not illuminate her back. This old woman, I am so scared that my teeth are chattering. Is there any big man who can explain to me who she is? Just an old monster who has lived for thousands of years. Why are there chains on her body and feet? Is she forced to be locked here? She finally stopped listening to a long sigh that lasted for 3 minutes. An old woman's voice that was not like a human voice sounded. Is it a chi refiner? I was able to walk to this place. It seems that I can finally end my years of guarding the tomb today. The old woman raised her head with a trembling body. Her eyes were all white, and she could not see clearly what was in front of her. Her body was too weak and old to stand up. But at this moment, no one looked down on her. Because as she moved, the chains made a rustling sound, and the darkness behind her was finally illuminated. Unlike the passage leading to the mausoleum of Xuanhuan that everyone thought, this darkness was filled with dense corpses. The long stone wall was covered with white bones. The white bones were as white as before, and you could still vaguely see the pain and struggle before death. Golden Hair Shell looked at all this and felt his hair stand up. Its other's performance was even worse. One of them muttered to himself. I was afraid before, and I was deformed, but I didn't see such human horror. Indeed, what was in front of him was very typical, human horror. Bone after bone was hung on the wall like dried bacon, and there was no end in sight. The ground was covered with broken bones and hair. Everyone couldn't help but pay attention to the back of the old woman, only Yeshi squinted his eyes and looked at her back. The white tiger's animal eyes were full of murderous intent, and he showed deep malice to the dangerous opponent who dared to speak like that. If Yeshi hadn't told it not to do it, the white tiger would have pounced on this human and torn it to pieces. The old woman's back was covered with thick red hair, which was unusually long and heavy, but it was all gathered behind him, leaving nothing in front of him. Not a Qigong practitioner. I'm just an explorer, interested in the tomb of the first emperor, not wanting to do anything else. I don't know if this explorer still remembers the giant beast planet that has been blown up. No way ahead. Facing Yeshi's friendly words, the old woman opened her eyes and did not move, but after he finished speaking, the bamboo stick was lifted up and hit the ground, and a hoarse voice came out of her closed mouth. I didn't expect that Qin Shi Huang had been dead for so long, and there were still people who were so determined to guard his tomb. This is incredible. Yeshi frowned, not very. He wanted to fight with the last witch and destroy all the witch's inheritance, which was not the result he wanted, so he was calm. I am not one of those tomb robbers. I just want to visit the first emperor. Besides, the first emperor is still alive. What do you have to worry about? You should be able to see that you are not my opponent. Yeshi rubbed his eyebrows in embarrassment. To be honest, I have become an immortal. Now I want to go to the tomb of the first emperor just to solve the confusion in my heart. How about letting me go? I can't do anything except take a look. The witch seemed to have heard nothing of Yeshi's first few words. It was not until he explained that he had become an immortal that there was some movement. She opened her completely white eyes and stared at Yeshi. Almost the next moment, Yeshi felt a gaze coming from all directions. This divine power was so familiar that it moved his heart. Can this witch in front of him actually contact Tai God? Too outrageous, the Pleiades star official can't even contact it. The witch said, it's actually a fairy in the sky. Obviously, she has seen Yeshi's identity, and the determination in her eyebrows has also dissipated a lot. It seems that he is indeed not one of those rats and ants. Does the fairy want to see the first emperor? It's a pity that he died a long time ago, died in the sand dunes. If you go in, there will be nothing except the burial objects. You are alive, but Qin Shi Huang is dead? Playing. You will guard his tomb for thousands of years after he dies, right? I don't believe this. Yeshi realized that the witch in front of him was not lying. Dead. You are still alive. This is very Yeji. The witch was not angry and continued, I am the witch closest to Tai God. He protected me to live in the world for a long time. It's not the case with the first emperor. Although he ordered Su Fu to go out and collect elixirs, it's a pity that the elixirs were collected but eaten by Su Fu, and he died in the sand dunes. In the mausoleum of the first emperor, there are only burial objects except for a corpse. I don't know what doubts this immortal wants to solve. I may answer them. Yeshi frowned and talked to himself in his heart. There is one more outrageous thing in this world. What a pity. I don't believe that the first emperor is dead. It doesn't make sense. It's a fantasy world. How can Qin Shi Huang die? If he is dead, why did this witch guard the tomb door for so long? Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 338. Yeshizhe thought about it carefully and felt that the first emperor was definitely not dead. As for the witch, he only knew some small information, but he was really loyal to Qin Shi Huang by guarding his tomb for thousands of years. I'm afraid you can't answer my doubts. After saying this, he wanted to stop the shaman in front of him, then walk in and see for himself what Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum looked like, but looking at the other party's appearance, the conversation changed and he said, You are a witch who has lived since the time of King Qin until now, right? I want to know something. Why did the Qin Empire and Qin Shi Huang, which were so powerful at the time, suddenly collapse? Is there any other force involved? Yeshi paused and pointed his finger in front. I mean heaven. At that time, as a witch, you should have access to heaven, right? Yeshi's words made the witch in front of him look at him deeply. As for the live broadcast room, it was very lively, and it was not a big deal to watch the excitement. As for more people, their hearts skipped a beat and they couldn't help but wailed. How come there is heaven everywhere? Forget it if there is heaven, don't tell me there is an abyss. These two are probably brothers, they are not separated from each other, you may have lost your idea. Heaven. These two words are too far away. But King Yingzheng of Qin is indeed connected with the gods of heaven. Yeshi raised his eyebrows and was not in a hurry to move forward. He was really just chatting here. There were no stools on either side, so Yeshi let Baihu lie on the ground to serve as a stool. The white tiger lying on the ground was counting its paws in boredom. It thought it could fight just now. Didn't Su Fu go to sea to look for immortal mountains and elixirs? Why, didn't they find them? It shouldn't be. Even if the immortals were unwilling to give the elixir at that time, the connection between Blue Star and the alien civilization had not been interrupted. If you want to get the life-extending thing, the price is a bit higher, but the possibility is still high. Woo, aliens. Those, beings from outside the sky. They did meet the king and made a deal. There is no such thing as wanting the king to live forever. I feel like I have caught a big prehistoric black hand, and it is this hand that controls everything in Blue Star. Aliens, farewell. Do you remember those lizardmen captured outside the ice wall? They were much worse off than us. Oh, is it heaven? Heaven doesn't want the first emperor to live forever. Yes, she said this directly. Wu hesitated for a moment and nodded. Good guy, my brother Zheng, it turns out you were defeated in this place. Yes, she stroked the white tiger, then nodded. Don't tell me that the collapse of the Qin Empire was also related to heaven's intervention. Isn't Xuanhuan a master of the Jedi? Yes, she got a headache thinking about this, looked at the camera and complained. There are countless mythological systems in the Dragon Kingdom, and they are contradictory to each other. My personal experience is overwhelming. I suspect that a divine king in heaven may hold more than a dozen positions before he can be unified in the myth. Zhang Baron, yes, your suspicion is correct. 1,000 miles away, brother, smoke a cigarette brother, are you that one? Wu laughed strangely when he heard Yeshi's words. Witches appeared after the Jedi heavenly power, but after the Red Emperor killed the White Emperor, there were no more witches. There are fewer and fewer immortals. Maybe only 3 or 4 people will become immortals in 1,000 years. Those gods in heaven will make this happen in the mortal world forever after issuing a decree. This is true even for Emperor Qin, who has great virtues and merits. If you must go in, maybe you will end up with the same fate as Emperor Qin. The Great Witch looks down on others, right? Great Witch, times have changed. Yeshi stroked the white tiger a few times and nodded. It's okay. If I die like Emperor Qin, I can go to the underworld and have a look. The last time I went to see the underworld, I didn't see anything. It was a pity. Living king of hell, no, no, no need. Wu's eyes were completely blind. She looked at the immortal in front of her and felt that it seemed different from the hermits she had seen before, but she didn't know where the difference was. But I heard this immortal yelling blindly into the void again. Our live broadcast room is for relaxed entertainment and popular science exploration. The one just now seems to be some kind of prehistoric gangster. The water is really deep, so don't pay too much attention to it. After all, it's not like I haven't seen the ruins of heaven and the ruined underworld that can no longer be broken. Everyone understands that times have changed. Then, this witch is already the last witch in Blue Star, let alone an antique from thousands of years ago. I have always respected the old and loved the young, so there is no need to fight or anything like that. Yeshi stretched out her hand, and before Wu could react, her whole person changed drastically. She went back in time from an old woman to a person in her 20s, with those mysterious runes still painted on her face. But she herself could not move. Okay, now I don't feel any mysterious moral guilt when I enter Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum. Yeshi clapped his hands, asked Bai Hu to stand up, and then rode Bai Hu into the bone passage in front. I want this too, I want this too. I want this too. I can't believe what it would be like if Brother Ye went to the era of Qin Shi Huang. Wouldn't that be a Doraemon who can realize any wish? As I wish, I also want to become younger and live forever. Wuoming, why do I remember that immortals can't do this? If it's really that easy to revive the dead and turn back time, there wouldn't be so many dead ghosts crying in the underworld. Golden-haired shellfish, because Brother Ye is still a god. Wuoming, no wonder, this kind of god, but this kind of god will be hunted down by the heavens. Golden-haired shellfish, but Brother Ye is still an immortal. Headache. Yeshi looked at the camera. I hope there won't be any more Mengtian and Mengyi in there. I used to think there might be a living Qin Shi Huang in the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, but I don't think so now. In addition to becoming an immortal, there is another possibility for him. Yeshi looked serious. He left the blue planet on an alien spaceship. Otherwise, why did he die so strangely? Your imagination, are you serious? If it were any other anchor, at any time, I would definitely spray this damn idea to death with a mouthful of salt soda, but now, it is an accurate guess. Why is it like a bad ending to a novel? I was almost unable to write anymore, so I changed my pen and wrote that the aliens took my protagonist away. Am I the only one who is afraid that this is true? If you think like this, wouldn't our Zheng brother have already conquered the heavens and the worlds? Tomcat, ha 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 ha, little sea god, you don't know, I came to your home planet to trade with Qin Huang for an alien spaceship, which is a top-notch product. Link on V50 rightward arrow purchase link entrance. Everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 339. Yeshi actually just had a thought in his mind, and then he said it out loud. When he said it out loud, he found that it really made sense. He glanced at the live broadcast room and found that the majority of viewers also felt the same way. The most important thing was that Tom Cat, the interstellar profiteer, just came out and admitted it. Is it really like this? When he said it, yes, she didn't think it was outrageous, but when it was possible that it was really like this, he suddenly felt it was outrageous. When he saw that someone finally thought it was outrageous on the barrage, he nodded. Right, you told me that Qin Shi Huang's successful ascension to immortality is more reliable than riding a spaceship to conquer the world. Too outrageous, this is really too outrageous. Yashi's expression was so shocked. Oh, there is a day when you are shocked. We have really lived long enough to see this. Kushi, normal mystery live broadcast rooms are full of useless anchors, but our Yeah Brothers live broadcast room has useless audiences. The audience's teeth are either about to break in shock, or they are mutated here, have arms there, have their eyes fall off, and have no feeling in their hearts. It's too miserable for us. That's right, and even the black and white impermanents from the underworld have sneaked into the live broadcast room. Why didn't you say they were real before? I just invited Brother Bai Vuchain for the sake of everyone's good, but he really came to me. Bai Vuchain, brother, don't be sad, Lao He is busy, I was slacking off to see you last time, I will bring you the horse face next time, didn't you say someone bullied you last time, then we will play mahjong together to kill him. Thank you. Go faster. Yashi patted Baihu's head. He really wanted to know what was inside the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. If it really flew to outer space, there should be some records. So Baihu's speed increased further, and it was almost a flash of light passing through the passage, without even a residual image. Of course, the live broadcast in the live broadcast room is normal, after all, this live broadcast platform itself is very black technology. Thinking of this, Yeshi thought of the system, so he asked. Tongzi, is there Qin Shi Huang himself in the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang in front of you? Ding, please enjoy the fun of exploration. Yeshi, you can get out. The long-lost words appeared in front of Yeshi again. If the system had not been physical, Yeshi would just want to slap it and let it be a riddle man. The riddle man got out of his live broadcast room. However, during Baihu's fast running, Yeshi was getting faster and faster from the tomb door. As for the 18 walls he had imagined before, they had long been demolished by these things underground. Yeshi and Baihu are both terrifying. Ordinary things can't get close to them. It's not that I underestimate the current development of Blue Star, but the strength of all human beings, modern times, combined is not as good as Baihu. After all, he is also a star destroyer. The earth-shattering star is no joke. Such a big planet of giant beasts can be blown up by these giant beasts, so it's normal to KO a small planet. Therefore, this is undoubtedly an adventure of hell for ordinary people, and it is also an adventure of hell for non-ordinary people. For Yeshi, it's just an ordinary adventure. Even before, he encountered a blood-stained dragon turtle and witch, and he couldn't even pass the Baihu level, let alone other messy things. Stop. Yeshi seemed to hear the breathing sound of a big whale in the sea. This sound was very ethereal and distant, as if it came from the bottom of the sea far away, so deep that it would drown people's souls. Is the first emperor serious? He really moved a sea in and raised fish, right? He raised his eyebrows. Although it was dark in the distance, he could still see clearly. He could reach the entrance of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum by crossing the abyss in front of him. And the sound of the whale, not only Yeshi heard it, but also the lives of different species in the 10 worlds in the live broadcast room. Shit, are you serious? Where's the mercury? Hey, look, which big idiot has never seen the world? What's wrong? Have you never seen a whale bathing in a sea of mercury? Hey, I haven't seen it either. I am a big idiot. Alegio, according to historical records, Forget it, I just analyzed this sound and confirmed that it was the sound of a whale. 6. Golden hair shell, a call from ancient times perhaps. What Qin Shi Huang really wanted to raise was a kunpeng. Kunpeng, there is a kunpeng in the sun, right? Tomcat, why do you need to look for it in the sun? I have kunpeng here. Although there are some flaws in its bloodline, it looks exactly like kunpeng. It's a rare pet. You can get it for only 998 instead of 9999998. Click to view the purchase link. Advertisers, die at Kraken. Ding, the live broadcast user ID Tomcat was banned for 3 hours for suspected interstellar fraud. Please be careful, the internet is not a lawless place. Yashi noticed that Kraken used the permission to ban people, but he didn't care. As for many viewers asking whether this is really the giant octopus Kraken, Yashi's answer, what if it's not? Yashi did connect an internet cable to Kraken, the giant octopus who had nothing to do but hold a little stone man all day, and then let it manage the live broadcast room for him. Retracting his thoughts, he looked at the gate of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum in front of him, which he could see as long as he flew over, and was thoughtful. This abyss looks a bit like a ghost cave. Oh, that poor snake god, I don't know if his authority will come back when the universe is destroyed. It is likely that he will. But this world may have more than one universe. Or, there must be more than one universe. Yashi only said this in his heart. He did not explain to the camera, or rather, for smart people, there is no need to explain. The things in the Wangxiangtai of the underworld are still vivid. Although his hometown was not reflected, the 2 blue stars were reflected. Anyone who saw that scene would understand that there are at least 2 universes. Yashi patted the white tiger. Fly over. He didn't care what problems there were in the abyss. After a short stay, he let the white tiger go directly. The white tiger, also known as the hunting god Vanguard, is a weapon for hunting gods. Not to mention using it here, even using it in the ghost cave is nothing compared to the big witch. The abyss is really strange. When flying above, you can still hear the gurgling sound of flowing water. The huge suction force pulls them down, as if to say that if you don't cross this river, it's like the underworld. Unfortunately, it was Yeshi and the white tiger who ran into them. The white tiger fell down. Yeshi stood at the gate of the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. The majestic, vast, and deep mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang can be seen from just one gate. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 340. Only today did I know why Sima Qian evaluated Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum like that in the historical records. If we couldn't package the sun and moon, we probably wouldn't be able to see them. It's really shocking that such great power appeared thousands of years ago. Yashi stood at the door of the tomb. How could a normal person's tomb be so arrogant? He wished that everyone would know that this was his tomb. Moreover, the tomb of the first emperor was just a tomb gate, which was already wider than the gate of the ancient city wall. If there was a Xianyang city inside, Yeshi had no doubt that it was true. I thought I was the first one here. It seems like I'm thinking too much now. After the first emperor left Blue Star, he actually sent someone back to take a look. Sure enough, the mother star is the eternal white moonlight in everyone's heart. Honestly, this word is used strangely, but there is nothing wrong with it. Oh my god, Brother Zheng really left Blue Star in a spaceship. He actually made a lot of achievements outside, and then turned back to show off his presence in front of his mausoleum on his home planet. Wealth does not return to its hometown, just like walking in brocade at night. The enemy can go, so can I. No wonder I have to learn those barbarian languages now. It turns out that it is because our brother Zheng prevents us from learning alien languages. Think about it, no matter how difficult a foreign language is to learn, it is easier to learn than an alien language. Yeshi touched the relatively new stone tablet standing in front of the tomb door. I believe everyone has seen it too. As everyone said, I really said it right at the time. The first emperor has really left Blue Star. More than 1,000 years after the first emperor left, he missed his home planet, so he sent people to come back to have a look. The envoys traveled all over the world and could still see the familiar projects left by the Qin dynasty. Finally, they came to Xianyang and came to in the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, a sacred monument was erected to inform future generations. Yeshi explained the words on the stone tablet in easy-to-understand terms, and then continued. So, don't be too surprised if you see small seal script or big seal script in the future when you are on an alien planet. He touched his chin and said this. Oh, my poor witch, after waiting for the king for so long, he still doesn't know that the king is no longer on this planet, so he accepted an empty tomb. It can't be said that leaving Blue Star is indeed almost the same as death, isn't it still death to not have a shadow for 1,000 years? Laughing to death, Brother Ye has successfully thrown the blame away, right? Don't think about it when you see Blue Star elements on other planets in the future, they are all left by Brother Zheng. Now let's see how to open the door of this tomb, which is rumored to be the first large tomb in ancient times. The camera zoomed in to take in the entire tomb door. Yeshi and Baihu looked like ants under the majestic tomb door. Logically speaking, I should be shocked, but when I think about the existence of immortals, witches, and aliens in that era, I don't want to be shocked. Ranyun is me, what's going on? There are immortals, witches, and aliens in this era, aren't you still shocked? In that era of underdeveloped productivity, it is really terrifying that the Qin dynasty could build such a mausoleum that can be called a miracle and a wonder. Thank you, Master, for the on-demand video. I understand. But this kind of door, other than violently breaking it open, is there any other way to break it open? If you use violence, you will damage the cultural relics. Brother Ye did not use violence against the ancient witches of his generation. If you stood in front of the witches, wouldn't you also feel that only violence can solve everything? Madness. Exquisite craftsmanship. Yeshi became so emotional after riding the white tiger for a few miles. This door has been welded shut since it was built, and future generations really have no other choice but to violently blow it open. What a wonderful workmanship! What a wonderful workmanship! The people in the live broadcast room were stunned into a ball at that time. Unexpectedly, Yeshi would make a wonderful turn later. This is a coincidence, isn't it? Remember when we went to Nantianmen in Baidu? It just so happens that I have a genius here. The true work of heaven in heaven. I originally thought that it would never be used again, but I didn't expect that no matter what kind of garbage it is, it can be turned into treasure as long as it is placed in a reasonable location. Courtesy, are you Tiangong? So Yeshi pulled out the Tiangong who had been tinkering in the Flame Mountain, pointed at the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang and said, "Let's see if we can open this door." The old Tiangong was so old that he didn't want to be tortured several times. He just wanted to fall out, but when he saw the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, he was stunned. This is. Yeshi raised his eyebrows. Don't tell me that you can't solve it? You are a heavenly worker in heaven, can't you even solve the problems in the mortal world? No, you don't want to say that, do you? Old Tiangong had never been on the internet, so when he heard Yeshi's words, his hair stood up in anger, but he didn't know why he was angry. He touched his beard and then raised his hand to Yeshi. This heavenly being, the mechanism in front of you, is definitely not just something made by human craftsmen. They should have received the guidance of heavenly craftsmen. But, I am the most outstanding heavenly craftsman in heaven for 80,000 years. Although these settings are somewhat ingenious, they are nothing more than that to me. Okay, I understand, please untie it quickly. This is the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang in front of you. Yeshi's tone was very perfunctory. The old Tiangong was furious, but after weighing the pros and cons, he found that he could not beat him, so he suppressed his anger and began to investigate the tomb door in front of him. Yeshi squatted on the white tiger and supervised the work with the majority of netizens. It was so novel for everyone to watch a Tiangong from the heavens show his craftsmanship. Among them, the Eclipse Cauldron and Dinglu Divine Fire were also taken out, and the divine materials were refined in them. In the unknown depth of the underground, in front of the Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum, the flames rose up and responded to the live broadcast room, which added a special fun. Ha ha ha, I don't know why I want to laugh. Xuanhuan is me, can I learn from him in there? The evil Taoist priest, do you still need to consider this matter? The lifelong goal of this Taoist priest is to inherit the unique skills of the past saints and create peace for all ages, and the unique skills of this Tiangong are orthodox in this Taoist. Wyoming, sometimes, people still have to have some dignity. After the old Tiangong worked tirelessly, he finally found a way to unlock the door of the mausoleum in front of him. He handed a square key emitting purple light to Yeshi. Look, this is me, Tiangong, a peerless genius who has never appeared in the world, a master craftsman who is counted even in the heavens, and it only took me 2/4 of an hour to unlock the mechanism of this mausoleum. Just put the key on the black dragon's rhinoceros head, and the door will open without breaking it. Okay, 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 I know, I know, I know. Yeshi grabbed the key, let the white tiger fly up, and then put the key on it. Boom boom. As expected, the door opened.